Hello, everyone. My name is Margaret Chan. I am a principal consultant at Altis Consulting. I have been with Altis for almost 15 years. For this particular engagement, I took on the role of delivery lead, going through design review, quality assurance, and technical guidance. I'm delighted to be joined by Ame, who is the lead consultant on this project. He has been responsible for the design, development, and implementing the solutions. And I'm also very happy and delighted to be joined by Kin Chan today, who is the technical director of smart parking, and he will tell us about their data journey with Altis. There are two things that I would like you to take away from today's webinar. The first thing is an understanding of the Google Cloud Platform and Local Studio reporting that we have created for smart parking. I hope that inspires you to want to improve your reporting solutions that you have at your organization and improve the reporting that you have for your clients as well. The second thing that I would like you to take away is being inspired by the global parking management solutions that smart parking provides and the data analytics services that Altis provides. And perhaps that would to contact either of us on how we might help you with your solution. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes to introduce smart parking and Altis for contextual purposes. And then Kin is going to describe the business challenges that smart parking was facing and then why they reached out to Altis, then build a solution. Ame is then going to describe the solutions that we have and then demonstrate the screenshots of the solutions of the final local studio reporting and how it works. And then Kin is going to talk about the benefits of smart parkings and the clients have derived from the solutions to date, and briefly talk about smart parking next steps in the data journey. And finally, I will wrap up by hosting the Q&A section. However, if at any point during the webinar that you think of a question, please pop it into the Q&A window and we will either address them in writing or we'll address them at the end of the Q&A, during the Q&A section. So for smart parking is a global pioneer technology innovator within the parking management industry with offices in New Zealand, UK, Germany, and Australia. Subject to the requirements of their clients, they will assess and recommend the best technologies to record vehicle activity. This could involve automatic number plate recognition, variable message signs, car counters, in-ground or overhead sensors, or a mix of all that has been mentioned. Their sensing devices are designed to then relay live parking events to provide guidance and availability to displays such as mobile app, overhead parking, overhead occupancy indicators, and guidance signage. Smart parking provides to their customer visibility of their site activity via their reporting we'll talk about so that clients can understand occupancy level, set enforcement rules, as well as understanding parking patterns for decisions around future planning. Whilst for Altis, we are a specialist data and analytics consultancy. We are vendor agnostic, meaning that we don't sell software. And what we do is we focus on helping our clients achieve their business outcome through the use of data. Hence, you can see that on the right-hand side, the prominent colors of red is the outcomes that we would like to help our clients achieve. And how we do that is based on the three pillars that you can see here. The first pillar is our advisory services. This is where we try and understand our clients' challenges, where they are today, and with data analytics, where they want to be in the future, and we'll try and build a roadmap to get to where they want to be. The second pillars of service, this is where we do our delivery services, where we implement what we've set out to do in the data roadmap with our clients, like helping them build a data platform, whether it's the traditional data warehouse or the data lake, help them with data visualization solutions or implementing data governance framework, etc. Third, and finally, we have our managed services pillar. This is where we proactively support and manage the solutions that we build or clients already have. Everything that we do is underpinned by our 25 years of frameworks and practices that we have been evolving, as well as what we do is imbued with our ethos of connecting with courage, heart, and insight. I'm very happy to now hand over to Kin, who will describe the current data landscape at smart parking and their business challenges.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ken. In smart parking, we are experts in managing customer parking by applying advanced technologies. We are very customer-oriented. Our audience involved residential and commercial users as well as public sectors. Our services are built with cloud-based technologies. We found a lot of our competitors are still staying with our on-premise hosting and database. 8 years ago, we developed our smart cloud platform and partnered with Google Cloud, as we believe scalability and reliability were the #1 basic requirements for any kind of IT system. In smart cloud, we built not only the backend that connects our parking site devices, we also built apps, dashboards, along with security as our basic backbones. One of our development involved presenting data in customer apps and dashboard, what we call Smart Cloud Hub. In Smart Cloud Hub, we present reports and real-time data to customers. We also allow users to manage their own parking sites with tenants and staffs. In other words, it is a one-stop shop for customers to manage and obtain data from their parking sites. For reports, we built around technologies based on Google Cloud Platform. They have one product which is called Local Studio that reads directly from our BigQuery database, which is a very highly scalable data warehouse. As you can see in the diagram, this is one of our basic simplified diagram with our camera technology, the BigQuery database, as well as with our Local Studio that connects to our Smart Cloud Hub platform. So for our business problems, we have a lot of data. We are now completely serverless, as well as we build around serverless technology. Since then, we haven't had any serious outage. Since our reports are built based around our raw data we ingested from our devices out there in the parking sites, we built reports upon customer requests. These are some of our business problems, as we have not got unified report settings, as well as we have data coming up from everywhere, from different continents and different time zones as well. So in general, we have report consistency issues since we have a lot of different requests from different customers. The tremendous of effort we built in the cloud actually paves our way to store vast amount of highly accurate and valuable customer data. We need reports that are scalable and performant. We know we can do it as we made use of the cloud technologies, but we still need data transformation. We don't want too much loading time as it build us, like cost us a lot, as well as customers shouldn't waste their time trying to retrieve their own data. We need change audits. This is kind of a standard for smart parking, so we can always trace or backtrack all the changes we made in our data. As we always mention, data is gold. These data, if we present it in an accurate, simple to understand manner, they can provide us with high value and ongoing insights to our customers. In contrary, we cannot afford if we transform data in a way no one understands. So here we need expertise from around the industry to put us in the right track. We then engage with Altis, which they start with a discovery engagement to us, allow us to understand our requirements, facilitate platform and toolset selections, create solutions for us, and at the end, implement the solution for us. Following a lot of discussions and business case approval, they deliver a solution for us. So here I will pass to May to discuss about our solution delivery approach.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Kin, for the vote of confidence. I am Amay. I was the lead consultant on this project. I'm going to talk you through the solution delivery and what we implemented at Smart Parking. So first, starting with the solution delivery approach. As Kin mentioned, our project was spread across 5 weeks. During the first week of our discovery phase, we sat down with Kin and his team to understand the current architecture and the business processes that were taking place at Smart Parking. We also held numerous requirements gathering workshops to understand the business requirements and the problems that they were facing, and to gauge what value Altis could deliver. These requirement gathering workshops were integral to delivering the solution, as these requirements and as these questions being asked by business were translated into analytical insights later in our solution. After understanding the current architecture in depth, we developed a future state diagram definition where we also selected a tool set which could deliver this scalably and in the most cost-effective way possible. Once the future state estimates were approved by Smart Parking, we then engaged in a 4-week solution delivery phase where we developed the data model and the dashboard and provided visualization best practice training, which we will talk about in the next slides. But first, we'll find what we discovered in our first week. So as you can see, we had a clear idea of the current architecture and a baseline knowledge of the business process that took place. And one of the most crucial things that happened during the engagement was initially Altis was engaged to deliver template dashboards for their web portal, Smart Cloud Hub. Their portal is where the clients engage and take in the dashboards, and that's how they deliver value. However, we realized after discovery that the template dashboards were not feasible in the current environment. We believed that the solution that they were looking for had a much bigger scope. So as Kin mentioned, that all of the data was being ingested and stored in BigQuery, which is a big data solution, and Looker Studio, which is a native BI tool within Google, which was being used to create the reports. However, these reports were processing millions of data points, and the logic for these reports was repeated across 300 plus customer reports with no traceability. And since these report logic was being read through source tables, it was adding to additional compute and cost. So going forward to the future state, we realized that we did not only had to improve the dashboarding, but we needed a dimensional model, a star schema, to realize the best practice, analytics best practice. And for this, we needed a tool which could transform the data and handle the pipelines scalably. This data model would then feed into the dashboard. Luckily, we had a tool within GCP called DataForm, which would take care of the code, the orchestration, and the pipelines. So talking about DataForm is a tool within GCP, which is free to use, which is a framework for managing SQL-based operations, and it transforms your data and it builds those tables and views within BigQuery. Some of the features of Dataform, to name a few, is that it allows the user to use software engineering best practices. So we have the ability to create separate development and deployment environments, along with along with the code being within a Git repository by default. That way, you can track changes and you can maintain traceability of the code base. Along with that, you can test your data to maintain data integrity and test specific data business logic. Along with that, you can use the modularity within the SQL code to reuse portion instead of repeating them across all your reports. And these are just some of the few features. Along with that, we can also do orchestration. So with Dataform, we will not go into technical details. If you need any more details, please feel free to contact me. So we'll move on to the solution implementation. So we'll talk about what we implemented in the 4 weeks. So the first things we realized that we needed a proof of concept. So we only focused on one business process to design the data model and the dashboard. So one of the key business processes was car park visits. Smart parking has state-of-the-art license plate recognition systems placed at each of their client car parks to track entry and exits. Along with that, we had an additional requirement that came through from the requirements gathering. So we had to implement something called whitelisting. So whitelisting is basically staff cars and non-visitors that come through to a client. We had to implement a logic to identify these particular vehicles to to make so that they could not be counted as visitors. And the other things that we decided upon was a vehicle entering and exiting a car park was a unique visit. So for example, if a vehicle enters a particular supermarket 3 times in a day, those 3 visits were counted as 3 unique visits. And one more challenge, as Ken mentioned, was that the car parks are across 4 time zones, 4 countries, and 2 continents. So it was essential to report all of this in local time. So once the model is finalized, we moved on to development of the model. So here we'll talk about the dimensional model. So the dimensional model, if you're not aware, it just translates the business processes into a conceptual model. So here we have the fact table in the middle, which tracks all the metrics. And we have the dimensions at the side, which has all the attributes that describe the particular data. So for example, the location, the name of the business, etc. And it also resembles a star, hence the word star schema. Our data model was a source of truth because all the data that was present was tested and it was true as in time. And also all the business and the transformation logic was in one place. So for our reporting purposes, all our reports would now look to the fact and the dimension tables instead of and all of this would just be a simple join, and you would know that the data was tested and the data was correct. So now we wanted a way to implement this and to create this. So hence we had Dataform to develop it. So here I'll talk about the architecture that we implemented. So first things, the ingestion. So as we mentioned before, the data was coming in through the license plate, the payments, and the app. So all of this is being ingested in near real time in batches into BigQuery. And then for our transformation, we created two environments, the development environment to create and develop new features and the data model, and the production environment, which would then serve onto the dashboard. So with DataForm and GitHub, we used that to store our analytics repo data, our code. So in this, with software engineering best practice, you would create a branch of which is called a feature branch, where you would create new features. So in this case, a new tables, new views, and you would implement that logic with it and test that logic with an isolated dev environment. And once you have done the testing and it has passed your unit testing, you would then create a pull request, which would then be reviewed by someone senior and would be tested by the business to complete the UAT. And once that code was tested and was correct, it would then be promoted into the production main branch, and then that would be then deployed onto the production environment. And in this case, we had scheduled it to run daily at 12 midnight UTC. And once we have the production data, then then it would just create those dashboards within Looker Studio, and then those dashboards were served to the business via API in Smart Cloud Hub. So as you can see, one more thing to add: the raw data and the data model are both present in BigQuery. There was no big restructuring of architecture that took place. So moving on to the visualization was a key in showing success of the data model. And we developed this using data visualization best practice, along with the requirements that we had from the workshops that we had done before. So one of the key takeaways from the requirements gathering sessions was that the clients wanted a way to see performance at a glance. So hence we developed KPIs that you see at the top. So we developed these metrics to display comparative analysis as well. So for example, in the first KPI or towards the left, you can see we compared that number of visits with last month and last year. This is an indicator of performance of the site. Along with that, we minimize the use of color to only theme colors, and we optimize space and non-data ink. So we made sure that the visuals were spaced correctly, and we removed borders and grids and any sort of distractors, so that we could maximize attention to the visuals and the insight that were given. Along with that, we placed a slicer to see vehicles. So we gave the users ability to only see whitelisted data, or all data, or only visitors that came through. So moving on to the next page, we deployed trends. So here we displayed trends using bar charts, because bar graphs were the most easiest way to display counts, and it gives the user a way to easily gauge trends. So for example, here it would be easy to detect an anomaly, and also if to see whether there is a downward or an upward trend. We also maximize spacing so as to make sure that the dashboard was visible and the metrics were visible, and the whole dashboard spans around 3-4 spaces. And we developed this along with the data analyst at Smart Parking, and this is what we delivered. And that's all from me. Thank you for listening. And I'll pass it over to Kin to talk about the business benefits and next steps. Thank you.
Thank you to Margaret, May, Altis in general, as well as my team, Chantel, working on to this project for the past few weeks. Actually, it spends probably 2 months' time in order for us to get the business benefits for processing that amount of billions of rows, 145 million rows within the 2 minutes time. And we still have more data streaming back into our database every single second in all our parking sites. Reports are being generated much faster nowadays. We can actually present customers with a much efficient manner. With what Amay has shown us with the dashboard, it is now providing more insights to customers, and actually our customers are very happy about the renewal of the customer dashboard. Throughout the period that I actually have a very good experience with Altis, Margaret and Amay provide us with a lot of questions, very relevant questions on behalf of our customers, so we can actually stand in the perspective of the customers, in which it may be our blind spots sometimes. We also wanted to have a single source of truth that these data transformation can allow us to do. We have now, with the DataForm, I'm rest assured there is a tracking capability for any change involved, and I can always backtrack to whatever transformation we did previously. With Altis, actually, I have identified this as a solution, with Google Cloud actually providing this tool set for us, which is very simple to use, as well as we have this business analyst users that we are happy to use that as our ongoing future capability, or to enable us to transform data quite easily. So as our next step, obviously, we want more reports to be built. Not only to our customers, we want to also build our own internal use reports. We have some examples here. We may want to build something like KPI performance for parking site, that customer want to know how much traffic or how much parking payments, how much infringement being issued for the site. We have internal business analytics that we can build. We also have a lot of management analytics that could potentially alert us for any potential issues around the parking sites. So I would like to pass back to Margaret to conclude.
Thank you. Thank you, Kin, and thank you, May. We will now step over to the Q&A section. So yes, so this is our contact details. So before we start looking at our question window, I haven't had a chance to have a look at that. But here is our contact details. So if you're interested to get in touch in regards to any data and analytics, feel free to get in touch with myself or May. And as well, if you are interested in the technologies that smart parking can provide from a parking management perspective, please contact Kin, and here are his details. So let me jump over to have a look if there are any questions for us. I have not seen any open questions just yet, so here's your opportunity if you have any questions for us. There's not seems to be any open questions. So, and this is not the final, so we will be following up with an email. So if you have questions, then you can still contact us, myself or Ame, and as well as Kin. So let me just have a final look. And yes, so we'll be sending you a link to the recording as well. So thank you for your time today, and thank you, Kin and Ame, as well as all the audience that have attended to this webinar. Thank you so much.